So how can guys spot? I mean, should we move on to the next question? So how can guys spot an alpha widow?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's, well, it's, she's pining for somebody pretty much. And it also shows up on how she's making this guy, your current, so she's dating you. Is she making you qualified to her, or is she qualifying to you? Is she trying to earn you after a point, or is she trying to get you to, is she showing up a bit entitled and trying to get you to earn her? And a lot of guys fall into that, that paradigm of trying to earn a chick. That's what they try to do. They try to, I'm going to do things for her. I'm going to buy her nice things, take her nice places.
The heart of my lady.
Right. They try to win over this woman. And if she's, making you wait for sex, for example, like a lot of these things are good signs. But with social media nowadays, you can look at that as evidence. It's pretty good evidence, because she will keep photos around, she will keep relationships going, and you'll see that stuff show up on social media with these exes. And I just
did the example of that post that you put in the community a couple of weeks ago. Can you just kind of break it down? Because I also responded to that as well with a bunch of the other guys. You want to deal with that?
Yeah, I don't know which one we're talking. which I
mean, like we were talking about the one where there was photographs of some exes, and like, how would you handle it?
Oh yeah, yep. Yeah. So I mean, so it's interesting because I need to back this up even a little bit. For guys need to understand that women are deceptive by nature.
No,
so, I know it's crazy. No, it's crazy. But
wait, let me get a pen. Let me write this down.
Wait,
women are deceptive by nature. Write that shit down.
Believe it or not, they're deceptive by nature. And this is not just like, oh, you're just being negative on women. No. Okay. As a man, my nature is to use aggression, violence, and anger at certain points to get things done. I don't do that though, because we have a set of societal rules, and I have a forebrain and a frontal lobe that dictates my behavior. But men will use aggression, intimidation, right? That's something that we are wired to do. Mm-hmm. Well, women, being the weaker sex, physically weaker, can't use that kind of intimidation usually, so they evolve to use deception, manipulation. They're wired to lie. The studies have been done, and attraction studies has shown that women by and large lie even to themselves about what attracts them to someone, which is why generally it's bad to get advice from women on relationships and attraction, because they're going to tell you a set of things that they think they like, but really they're responding to a whole different set of things. They don't actually know, and they're deceptive to themselves. And it makes sense. I mean, it's not trying to be just crap all over women, but think about it. Even like in Afghanistan today, if a woman was honest about her sexual desires and proclivities, she'd get stoned to death. She'd be killed. She'd have acid thrown on her face, right? So being the weaker sex, they've had to use deception.
It's part of survival.
It's part of survival. So we can't get mad about it, but you have to recognize what it is. And so they're going to hold on to these sexual experiences and these people of their past until somebody comes in and basically replaces all of that. Right. So her hypergamous mind requires the best for her to have the best. If you're her best and you come along, these other things of her past won't even be a thought anymore. So when that ex-boyfriend that was her sexual best at one point, who, he contacts her maybe every year to see what she's up to and all that, and she doesn't respond to that message and forgets.
That message usually WYD.
What you doing?
What you doing? Yeah.
What you doing? But it could be like, but it's just like, hey, what you been up to? I haven't talked to you in a while. All that crap, right? It's like, if you guys ever really hung out platonically, let's be real. You know what I mean? And so, and guys will do that when they're in relationships with women, right? I mean, guys do stuff like that all the time. And so, if she forgets to respond to that dude and goes, oh my, you know what? This dude, I didn't even respond to that guy because she totally forgot because she's with you. That's a good sign, right? That means you just replaced all that stuff. But if she is making sure that she is really keeping up on these relationships, and and she's not keeping a healthy boundary, like, oh, well, we're just friends, we're gonna hang out, you know what I mean, that kind of stuff. And then,
Yeah, did you ever hear that one liner, like nobody fucks more friends, or sorry, nobody fucks more girlfriends and wives than just a friend?
Mhm. So
Trust me.
true.
Shout
Well,
out to John from Modern Life Dating, by the way, he's in the
hey,
chat,
what's up,
and
John?
also to new channel member Matthew Clements. That join button over by the subscribe button, if you're on YouTube, it just lets you into the live chat. I also sort and organize comments on all my videos, and I respond to channel members all the time too. So sorry, Paul, carry on.
No, all right. And so this introduces this idea too. I just did a video on this, and I'll summarize some of the key points here because it's important.
Yeah.
And we don't talk about this actually much, and we should. Just like jealousy, when we had that video on jealousy, guys need to go back and watch the thing on jealousy too. This all ties together, you know. But I'm talking about cucking. All right. So you got traditional cuckoldry is where a woman has sex with another guy, gets pregnant by that guy, then has her relationship guy take care of the baby. Well, that's strategic pluralism in a sense, you know, and
deception baked into it just in the side there.
Right. And so that, I mean, that has a name for it in evolutionary psych and has been studied in the animal kingdom as well as with humans for a reason, because it is a part of our DNA. It's part of her DNA to do that. So that level of deception to go get pregnant, you know, in fact, her body is designed, in fact, to deceive you. Where like chimpanzees, when they're in estrus, their, you know, genitals swell, and, you know, the other chimpanzees know that she's
obvious.
ovulating.
With women, you can only tell if you're really good, right? You know, you look for the makeup cues. You know, she's got the giant hoopity hoop earrings, right? That's when you can tell.
The bigger the hoop. So
the bigger the
hoop. And so, yeah. And so, you know, we can sort of tell, but Rick, her is not overtly obvious that she's ovulating.
Right.
There's a reason for that, because her body's even designed for her to be deceptive and to conceal those things. And again, there were survival reasons for that. Survival reasons for babies, like infanticide and stuff like that's it was a real issue. So, you know, she's designed to be deceptive. And here's where cucking. So cucking is more of a modern term based off of cuckoldry, but it's basically where she fantasizes about another guy or acts on that fantasy. So actually has sexual, you know, stuff with that guy. But it's not just about the sex with that guy. It's about the degradation of her current partner. So she's degrading that partner. She gets off more. She gets more aroused and excited because of the deception, and because it degrades that other man. Now,
have you ever had a chick dropped off at your house from the date that she was already like the date that she's on?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. So any guy that's out there that's been in this hot seat would know this as well, what it's like when a chick arrives at your house. When she's on a date with another guy, she doesn't sleep with him. She doesn't do anything with him but use him for his time or his attention or for dinner or something like that. Sometimes he's a sugar daddy, but he'll drop her off at your house. Like this is the exact example that I wanted to illustrate here for that. Yeah.
So we want to talk practical examples. I'll get into my embarrassing history as a Chad who didn't care long time ago. Right. I didn't care for a while. I didn't care about, like, I'd bang married women. I'd bang women who are in relationships, didn't give a crap. I don't recommend that route, but I did that route for a while. And these women are just ruthless, and they enjoy like degrading their partners. They would degrade their partners to me, you know, while I'm having sex with them. There were times that a guy, all right, this is a little embarrassing, but I don't care. We're going to say it, and people are going to watch your show and hit likes. So I've had, I've had in a sexual situation, the boyfriend call me, take the phone, hit answer, grab her hair, make her talk to the boyfriend while I was doing stuff to her, we'll say, right? Guess how hard those orgasms were. Yeah. Real hard. Okay. So it's and now of course the residual effects, it's like in long-term relationships.
Well, now you have to deal with the fact that you've alpha widowed this chick.
Oh no, like this is terrible. Like in hindsight, I'm like, man, this is really bad, right? But this is her choice. It wasn't me doing it. It would be, it wasn't me, Chad, doing it. It's Tyrone or,
But I mean, this is the same
Brad
good
or
girl
whatever,
that you guys will meet on a dating app next week and be like, wow, she seems really swell. She's a really kind person.
Right.
It's the
Yep.
same chick Paul was with,
I was just with her and she was answering the phone. She was texting you all there together.
Uh,
No, but yeah. And so when you see that and you experience that, you're like, where is this coming from? It's a primal thing.
Yeah.
So here's, and so here's where it comes from. She needs a guy that you want, that genetically superior guy. Well, when she settles for someone else, she doesn't know she's always settling, because women don't think about their decisions. They don't. They're just reacting emotionally into hindbrain drives. So when
aren't women rational, Paul? That's sarcasm, by the way.
I'm waiting for the Rational Woman book to come out. But so no, when it comes to sexual decisions, no, they're complete idiots. And I'm sorry, it's true. And women watching this, just recognize that that's true, and then you can work with it. You know what I mean? If you try to fight it, it's just a mess. So anyway, they end up in the honeymoon phase. They have all the happy chemicals, and they're really living off of hope. I mean, if you cornered them and were like, is the sex with, Billy here that you're with really as good as it was with Tyrone 5 years ago? She's going to be like, well, no, not really. But, then she'll rationalize it. But it's not everything. And he's a good guy. Like, she'll rationalize it during the honeymoon phase. And really, she hopes that little Billy will be a Tyrone in 6 months to a year. Maybe she can train him or whatever. Women they make that compromise.
Let me ask you this question. How many times do you get an email or a DM or a comment from a woman saying something along the lines of, how do I make my boyfriend more alpha?
Yeah, all the time.
Right?
All the
Happens
time.
all the time.
And they want to send their guy to coaching for me, all that stuff.
Yep.
Absolutely. And that's cool. I mean, actually, that's fine. But
I want him to become more alpha, but not so alpha that he realizes that his value is higher than me. So I don't want him to learn too much.
Right. Yeah. Let's not get him too, yeah. Exactly.
Let's not get him right off the plantation. Let's just partially take him off the plantation.
Right. Still need him to plow ours for me. I just need to let me go for girls' night out once a month. Is that cool?
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And so, I mean, it's, my train of thought, but I mean, once that honeymoon phase wears off, they resent that guy. See, that women don't they're not just unattracted to betas. They
loathe them,
hate them.
Hate
them because that represents, if they accidentally have a baby with this guy, right? That represents a drain on resources for the tribe in primal times. Okay.
Well, there's also that sexy sons theory too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's why there's women that will go for the alpha seed and then cuck the guy and turn him into beta and need. There's so many single mom. I mean, my entire Twitter feed could basically be distilled down to snapshots of Bumble and Twitter pictures guys send me in my DMs to post on there of like pregnant single mommies that are 23 with 6 kids already, like, looking for some guy to raise the other dudes. Brew of children.
Yep.